got to extend my rod.
No, stop playing with your pole. It should be nice and firm by now.
It's firm, right?
Level, we've already done the sound check.
I've got it long. I had to make it longer.
You can't go throwing around with your pole once we've done the sound effects, okay, and the checks. Is it long enough?
We're good. Yeah, it's long
enough.
It's the right length.
It's
long. It's got a bit of dust on it. Look, there's spider webs and dust.
I've always thought that the only length is 3 inches. 3 inches is all you need for a good pile. And there's cobwebs and spider webs and dust on it because it's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
You've been out of the world. You're back in the world. And this is the Storytime
podcast.
I don't know what I was going to say.
We're completely out of sync. We don't know the intro, and we don't. It's been so long. What's it called? STD.
Where we answer
STD.
questions, lore questions, Storytime. That's it. That's why we're here to talk about stories, to answer questions that get posted in the Winters SEO Discord. And since we said we were coming back with this, oh my emperor, have you been overwhelmed? Is your inbox stuffed or what? Are you stuffed?
Got so many pins. I've got loads of questions.
Loads of pins, loads of questions. Enough to fill many, many episodes, but you've got to drift back into the warp because you've spawned. There is a youngling running around. Yeah,
so basically, for people tuning in for the first time, this is the STC. Sometimes we call it the STD. It's a story time podcast, right? It's about lore. And we answer questions that people ask on the
I said all that.
Discord. Yeah, but I'm saying it again coherently because I'm trying to segue. Yeah, right. I'm trying to segue into this.
You're going to edit me out at the front.
I'm going to get rid of you at the front.
Right.
Get rid of that.
I would.
So the STC, that's where you are. That's where you've landed. If you become a member, you can join the Discord and you can ask the questions. And I go through the questions and I bring the questions to here. We have a chat about them. We talk about lore. It's great fun. It's cool, but it hasn't been around for the last 6 months, right? Now,
it felt like a millennia. How could you leave me?
I've aged terribly in this time.
Your beard was brown before.
Yeah, I'm like Theoden King after Grima's been in his ear.
You look like Avocado Gandalf.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm 40 years old now. I wasn't even 40 last time we recorded one of these episodes. I had a child. So this explains everything. The degradation of my soul and physical form. I've had to give up my essence. My psychic energy has been drawn out of me because this child has come along. Now she's pretty cool. People that I've shown a couple of little pictures on Discord, but we'll keep it at that. Not everyone wants to see baby pictures all the time, but she's pretty cool and she's pretty cute. So I'm allowing it. But we've reached that point now. Where it's time. I'm back, babe. I'm back, baby. We're back. It's the STD podcast. Yeah, and I'll play some music over this bit.
Right.
And a fancy graphic will come up.
Fancy. Ooh, wow.
We'll do
horse emoji.
Yeah, horse emoji. We'll do 3D confetti coming in from the sides.
Nice.
I still haven't fixed the lighting. It's still really blown out.
You've got to put some Gen Z words in for the new
skibbity.
Like, let's riz this up.
This up. Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah. This is the new STC for Gen Z and it's for all the generations.
Dude,
all of them, the old ones.
When she grows, right, and she's able to talk to you, you won't be able to understand a go-around word that's coming out of her mouth. They talk a different language now. What's that all about?
I don't know. And I feel like I've officially, because I've passed the 40 threshold.
Yes.
I feel like I've gone into this area where we don't understand anything anymore, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're something like 60, 70 now, aren't you? So
basically,
virtually. That you're down in the depths of this, but I've just entered into this area of I'm old.
Did you get the badge and learn the secret handshake?
Not yet.
The line?
A couple more years, and they sort of got to wait.
He snuck in. We got to get him, lads.
Got to get a bit more grey. They said that's. Now I'll get this dyed up. I'll get this beard dyed up for the next one, so that the kids, can empathise with us. And you look young and hip. You've got sunglasses on, that cool hat.
Well, thank you. I mean, you used to wear a hat like this, so I thought I'd show homage, welcome you back. You're not wearing the hat like this, nor are you wearing any of that facial cream I gave you, because it's not just dyeing the beard that's going to help, because you look like an avocado had sex with an older, uglier avocado. What happened to you? You've aged a decade.
She drew the moisture. She drew everything out of me. No, listen.
Do you love 40K?
You know what? This is the question.
Do you enjoy 40K? Have you been painting 40K?
Are you
in 40K? Do you feel the 40K?
I feel 40K. Right. This is the thing. Many people around me.
We haven't lost in people.
Have fallen through the cracks, right? There was times when I wavered slightly, and I can't give up on it. I can't. It's part of me. You're into something since you're like 10 years old, and it just doesn't go away. You can't just give up on it that easy. So there's ebb and flow in it. People are more into it, and they're less into it. And they're blah blah blah.
Always.
But at the end of the day, that universe is the one that I know the most. It's the one that I've spent the most time in. It's the one that I just feel comfortable in. The horrible dystopian future of eternal war and suffering. That's the one for me.
I mean,
but yeah,
it's about the only thing that can make you feel now you're this old, right? That
exactly.
grim darkness.
Yeah, I've got to think
there.
Yeah,
it's a lovely thing. And it's have you painted anything recently?
Oh, I've painted a lot.
There's a Terminator thing with the blue. I like the jade blue. Show them
the blue.
Blue.
I haven't done any of the weapons on these guys, but I've been going for this sort of custom Custodes theme.
That jade blue is sweet.
So they're kind of bluish and they're kind of a dull gold. Probably going to go with like a Scream of Pink or something for the...
Almost Thousand Sunsy with the blue and the gold. And
bit.
Now you're thinking Scream of Pink. See, this is the chaos, the old Warsmith Chris in you trying to pollute those Custodes and give them chaos covers.
No.
Love it.
I've absolutely abandoned chaos in all its forms. So I've got these on the goes. I've got some Imperial Agents. I built... Nice. Look at this. Wait. Look at this. I've built my own little Inquisitor there. I don't know if you can see that very well. Built my little kit-bashed Inquisitor.
Lovely.
I'm all about the Emperor now.
Nice.
I've given my ways. I'm just not going to change my name because that's awkward to do. But I'm still the Warsmith, But I'm a loyal one.
A Grey Shield or one of the Malcador's Chosen.
Exactly.
You're still a Warsmith, but you believe in the Emperor.
Yeah. Because one of the things I discovered on my route is because I started playing the old world as well. Is that chaos in the fantasy setting is the chaos that I really like. And chaos in the 40k setting are a bit too... I think I like Astartes too much. I like the story too much to see them corrupted into demons. So I've got some Deathwatch over here. I've got everything. I've got Stormcast Eternals. I've got... I've got some Iron Warriors for 30k that I'm working on. I've got everything. I've been painting everything. I've been doing everything.
And you still want to play? Because there's a lot of people that we know that...
I know.
They don't have... But they don't have the foot.
We've lost them. So
they don't have it.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's the ebb and flow. It's the ebb and flow of the war game. Sometimes what did you want to say about it?
They think they're better than us now because they don't play the 40k and they look back at us and us weak losers. Why are you still playing the 40k? Haven't you heard of Bolt Action or Sigmar or Old World, which is still Games Workshop, or this historical thing, or that thing over there, or Horus Heresy, or da. And there's so many other games, and I've played a lot of games, and to be looked down upon by people that I love. No, I love the 40k, but I can love other games as well. That's allowed. And the 40k, it changes. Games change. There's many games. Have you played many games? You've watched the 40k change? I've still been watching lots of different battle reports for 40k, and I still think it plays really, really well. I've been playing the Old World, which is a great game. It's harking back to the old way of playing Games Workshop games. But everyone's playing like Slime Champion and Gandalf's Revenge and all these new games that have popped up. But they're not going to be supported in the same... Actually, I do really want to play... Lord of the Rings Middle Earth strategy battle game. Right.
That's
got some.
That's not the Games Workshop game. I still play all the Games Workshop games.
Yeah.
So to pick one of them, 40k, and be like, this one's... Anyone who plays this one's rubbish, but you can play the other ones. I'm not buying it, mate.
But some people say the rules suck now, so they don't want to play it anymore.
They don't suck. They don't suck at all. The game changes, right? The game has to evolve. The game has to change. We know this. You don't want to be stuck in playing the same rule set, the same codices, the same everything. And I was saying to her,
and decades.
Not for decades and decades, and not just that, but if your army, people who've gone off Warhammer, they've got multiple reasons, right? Usually it's the rules suck for the game, or my army sucks and I'm not going to play. Right. If you're only playing your army when they're the most powerful, when they got the highest win rate, when they got the most broken mechanic, then maybe don't play games. Maybe just go play solitaire. Then you can beat yourself over and over again. You can be as cool as you want. But if you're not always going to be. Sometimes you're going to have to use your.
But if it's not just about winning, if you want to have fun playing games, then have fun playing games. And it doesn't have to be the best and the biggest and the things, and have fun.
Comes back to your opponents as well, doesn't it? So just pick the right people to play with, which is probably why some of the people we've been talking about don't play, because they're no fun. They're just no fun, are they?
The way I see it,
boring.
Look, I've got orcs. Right? I love my orcs. Who doesn't like orcs? Playing against them, playing with them. I've got my orcs, and there's a game where you can play orcs, and it's called Warhammer 40k. Am I going to stop playing it because the game goes up or down, or the rules go up or down, or the things? No, that's the game that you play to play with my orcs and have fun. Winning is great, and you're obviously trying to win, but more importantly, you try to have as much fun playing games as possible. Shock horror, news flash, stop the press. Who's that? Vicky Vale. Name that movie.
The superhero one, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. If I brought 2,000 points of Black Templars and you had 2,000 points of Orcs, we'd run at each other with the idea of rolling buckets of dice and seeing who. How could you not have fun doing that?
Well,
apart from if one person was poking in the eyes.
Secondaries, and there's no front armor value, and because there's no other thing, this and blaster and that's the reasons why. And I get it, because there are many rules that I wish they put in there, and many rules that I miss. But there are other game systems. There's Horus Heresy, there is Age of Sigmar, there is. If the game system's important to you, you could probably find a game out there with that game system or something similar to that game system. Even if you don't like the 40k, your turn, my turn, and you prefer your unit, my unit, your unit, my unit, your go, my. There's games like that out there. I think that's what Infinity does, and things like that. If the game's important to you, you can find it. But the stories I get to tell with my orcs are more important.
Yeah.
And this is the game where you tell those stories in.
And if you've grown up with 40k, and there's so much. It's the deepest universe. You can get so deep into it, so deep that you can't just give up on it.
Well, so deep you can't climb your way out, even if I threw you a spade.
Yeah.
How would you dig your way out of that well?
Can't even get out of it. You're so far down. You can't even see the little pinhole of light at the top.
Yeah.
There's nothing like this massive amount of. Look how much white light there is just coming from above.
I know. That's the Emperor's light. Down here it's grim and dark.
But the moral of the story is we like 40k.
Do you want to play more 40k, Warsmith Chris?
I want to play more 40k.
Is she going to let you out of the house every now and then? What's it like? Can you escape? Have you built a tunnel yet? Please.
Yeah, what we've just been talking about, hopefully we'll have more Warsmith and Winters 40k. Someone actually mentioned earlier, like, when are we getting a battle report? And I keep going back to this. We did haven't avoided it. We did one, and then it just got broken. It was broken. It did, because Necron's got a new codex. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that. But we'll do more. I want to play 40k.
Anyway, on to the story time.
Oh, the story time. Yeah.
Podcast. Onto the story time podcast. Why isn't it STPC then? STPC. Why is it STC? Podcast. Whose idea was it to drop the P? I mean, you can't just drop a P.
We wanted it to be like the 40k thing, the STCs in 40k. So we had to adjust the name so that it was more 40k lore sounding. STC. No,
I don't get the connection. No, no. Anyway, we're here now with this. Have we got any questions?
I've got loads.
You've got loads. There was an explosion in the Discord, wasn't there? People love hearing that you're back. By the way,
Thanks. I really appreciate that, everybody, because I missed everywhere. I missed having a chat with people in here, throwing some bants out on the internet, and it's fun.
Talking smack to your homies.
We've got loads of questions. There's one question that I kind of want to focus on a little bit, so we'll save that for a little bit.
Okay.
Before we go into this question, I want to quickly petition people.
Right.
If you are a player of the game Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus, it's a mobile game. Some people play it on the old mobile phone.
Right.
I need some help fighting these bosses. There's only 2 of us in this guild. It's called Free Terror.
1 minute.
What?
Go on. Sorry. This is literally a pitch for help.
I need help. Yeah. It's called Free Terror. And we're trying to beat Mortarion and all these bosses, and there's only 2 of us. We suck.
How do people get in contact with you? How?
You just go on the game and look up Free Terror, and then you'll see Warsmith Chris and the guy who made it called Free Man or something.
This is just comedy.
Yeah,
it's priceless because now you've got to report back every 2 weeks when we record one of these to tell us how the guild's going on.
Yeah.
So this is going to become a mini soap opera drama review.
Yeah. How many bosses have we killed? Because right now we're stuck on a Hive Tyrant.
This is not the end of the story, Chris. This is not the end of that story. Oh God!
So turn up. I need you. We need you,
dear Emperor. Please. It started with Warsmith Chris's cry for aid on the return to the story time.
I need help. Yeah, I thought I'd abuse it straight away.
Been gone. And by the end of the year, someone cuts it together into like a 5-minute mega cut of Warsmith Chris's excellent episodes with what? What is it?
Tacticus.
Join Warsmith Chris on Tacticus for his excellent episodes, all combined mega cut end of the year.
Yeah, and then we'll get a sponsorship deal and all that kind of stuff as well.
Make millions.
Yeah. Let's have a look at this. Enough about us, right? Because we're just waffling on. These people have asked questions, and we need to.
We're here for them.
Delve
we
into
are
it
here for them. This whole thing exists because of them.
Because of you. Yeah. So if you stop giving us cool things to talk about, it doesn't have to always be questions. You could just have a talking point.
Yes.
It can be a question. It could be silly, but we don't want every question to be silly because it's actually really cool to start talking about the lore in a fun, casual way.
Is it?
Educated on some of the stuff because I'm going to spoil a little bit. The main thing I want to talk about tonight later on is the Golden Throne itself.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
There's a question asked about it, and it got me thinking about how much people know about what the Golden Throne is currently in the lore, but we'll get there.
Right.
So Dante has asked 2 questions, but the main question is, does the Emperor actually have a name ever mentioned, or has he always been called the Emperor? I'll leave this to my colleague.
Yes, his name is mentioned, and one of his names is mentioned in the book Saturnine in Siege of Terror. I won't repeat what it is because it's a spoiler. Also, I can't remember. Despite
Go
having
read
read
Saturnine
the book multiple times, and I'm literally at the end of the Siege of Terror audio series. Listen to it; it's so good. Having read the Siege of Terror on audio for the 2nd time now, and I'm in right at the end of the first book, in the end and the death. It's just so good.
Nice.
Sorry.
We'll try not to spoil too much stuff because it does. A lot of stuff goes back to these books. Because this next question is really silly. It says. In the book Prospero Burns, do they ever get to Prospero? I've been struggling through Wolf Jail for half the book and no Prospero in sight.
No, that book is an entire lie. It was written by Alfarius with a little twist at the end. You've been on Terra in a dreaming pod all this time, and when the character gets woken up, it finds out that all the times we're living in this Matrix thing, there's a pill involved, it's EMP stuff, it's exciting, you'll like it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We've got a chap here called Malky, who says Malcolm, who has never met Winters and is not the Malcolm Winters dislikes.
I don't know if there's a Malcolm I dislike, but now you've said that,
I feel like there's a hidden depth.
I'll have to check my diary. I've got a hit list of at least 12 people. I'll check.
Well, the question is, if Dawn gets teleported to the same place as Sanguinius on Horus's battle barge, what changes, if anything? Now, first of all, I'd like to say, if he gets teleported to the exact same spot as Sanguinius, something big changes. They'll just explode because their atoms will materialize into each other. But I think what Malky, the good Malcolm, not the one that you dislike, is asking is, if Dawn was there too, would it have changed the outcome? This is the same Dawn that got disemboweled by Conrad Kurz.
Yeah, I would say it wouldn't change what Dawn did then, but it would change everything about who Dawn is after the Siege of Terror. Everything changes because of what he goes through.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I think they're setting something up. The whole of the end is setting up Abaddon, is setting up Sanguinius, setting up the Emperor, setting up Dawn, setting up these characters. Pandemonium will be the next book in the Pariah trilogy when we find out about the story behind the Yellow King. Pandemonium will be unleashed because of the Apollonian Spear and Valdor. There's so many things in that book. When you reread it, re-listen to it, set it up for the future. So that's what he was doing. He was building a foundation upon which 40k, because they're going to do it right. Heresy is so successful. What happened before was they made these plastic models, and some of them were quite good. So they made stories about them like Gotrek and Belix, or a role-playing game, and then Gaunt's Ghosts. And then finally they spawned the whole of the Horus Heresy. And Horus Heresy was so successful, it spawned an entire new model range. Mm-hmm. That's how successful Horus Heresy was. It changed the company, and you could be rest assured that in their long-term plan, they've got some sort of Horus Heresy-ish idea for 40k. Valdor's coming back. The Lion's come back, but he hasn't met Guilliman yet. We're going to get more Primarchs back, more Demon Primarchs back. And there's going to be something happening. My prediction, 5 to 10 years' time, we're going to get some big narrative arcs. Instead of the narrative getting pushed forward by the guys writing the rule books, and suddenly there was a thing and there's stuff and their idea, the narrative will be dragged, kicking and screaming forward. I hope, I pray, I think, by Aaron Dembski-Bowden and by Dan Abnett and by Chris Raitt and by Graham McNeil. And those guys building something, and that's where that's their part 2, and it could be the Emperor kind of waking up on the. There's all sorts of stuff they could do there, all sorts of stuff. So
that's like a whole episode.
Changes the future, not the thing. That's what I say to that one. There's a bigger meaning going on all the time in that book. Yes, sorry. Exciting. 40k. I get 40k feelings from time to time. I've been having them recently. I had them about the Mechanicum dice. I'm feeling 40k. Space Marine 2. We're not mentioning it. No, what we won't. But everyone's been having big 40k feelings. It's that time of year for Warhammer nerds. Carry on, Chris.
Quick spoiler. I've pre-ordered Space Marine 2.
And when it's time this video out, you can't come talking about pre-order and things. That's what I mean.
Well,
don't
what
talk.
I mean, it's going to be out of sync, isn't it?
Do not talk about Space Marine 2.
Okay. Can I just...
If anyone is watching this instead of Space Marine 2, I'll be amazed.
Yeah, stop it.
If you are watching this or taking a break in Space Marine 2 to watch this, please write in the comment section below. You the OGs, people. You're the OGs. No.
Yeah, that was the thing we used to do. We used to seed a word in to find out who the real ones were. Who were the real ones? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to say, I pause Space Marine 2 for this.
Yeah.
And then we'll know. We'll know you're the real ones. Yeah.
The real ones that stopped it and got this far. Legends.
Yeah. Or you come and join me and help me beat the big Tyranid bosses. Yeah. Thanks.
What's that name again on the thing? What is
Free Terror. Free Terror.
Free Terror.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's like free terror as in free it from oppression, because that's heresy. That's heretical thinking. Or if it's like free terror. This is free. I don't know.
Do you know anything?
No, I just joined it and I'm trying to fight this Tyranid boss, and I'm not strong enough.
What are you playing as?
Oh, you play as different things. I've got my team has got some Ultramarines and some Black Legion together, which is a bit. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Right, should we do some of these questions?
Yes.
Right. Luxol. Why why is the human-built portion of the webway still in use? Wouldn't it be better to just dump it and destroy it, denying Chaos access to Terra via this route? It would also free up the Emperor to do other things.
It would be an interesting question if there were any such thing as a human-built portion of the webway. The webway wasn't built by humans. The webway wasn't built by Eldar. It is an archaeological discovery from the old ones.
From
which
the olden days.
Repurposed a few times here or there. The humans tried to repurpose bits of it to allow the slip slide, the impossible city, which partially existed in slip space and partially existed in the webway space, which is an old. There's no human bits built in bits.
Yeah.
The bit at the start in Emperor in Mankind, Master of Mankind, with the AdMech stuff going in and coming out, that Vulcan looked at and said, "This isn't going to ever work." That stuff, they're like add-ons. Like what happens a Hive City building over an OG STC, which helped founded the planet way before, because most Hive Cities, a lot of them, things like that. It's old. No human bit. Disconnect. No, it doesn't. Webways, no. Webways are like, there you go.
Yeah. Webways are already there, and it's finding them is what the brain people do, navigating them. This is an interesting question that I haven't really thought about from Pickle Nick. Don't know why I haven't thought about this. If some Chaos legionaries scavenge armour from dead Astartes, which we know they do, can this still be done after they kill Primaris Marines?
No, they're not allowed. No,
they're just not allowed, are they?
They're not allowed.
It wouldn't fit proper.
No,
I guess you could put the shoulder pads on.
Chaos Space Marines are allowed to shop at places like Asda, Tesco's, things like that. But you don't let them in the main high street. They go nowhere near your H&M's, your Marks and Spencer's, your proper high street brands, Next, things like that. They're staying. I'm sorry, but your mum's using. If you're Chaos Space Marine, okay, your mum, your whole family, honestly, you're shopping at Asda. My local store in Swindon. I've seen you there. Your forces of evil. You're not allowed the Primaris stuff, okay? You're not allowed to have maglock.
Hands off.
Or clamp-on bolt guns. You've got to use a bit of someone's flesh to maglock that bolt gun to your leg. Okay? Coming in with squirrel pelt things over your shoulders. And, They're not allowed the prime. They're not allowed the bling. No, keep them away from that stuff.
No, but funnily enough, they can go to Primark, right?
Yeah,
which has got double meaning there.
Everyone can go to Primark.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone can.
Yeah, everyone can go there.
I'd just like to point out that I actually do like shopping at George sometimes, which is the Asda clothing range.
Do you know what? They have good deals.
They've got some decent. Like if you need stuff like your basics, I remember getting a bunch of vests from there. For like £7.
Do you know, like
some vests?
Well, we were growing up. You couldn't get clothes in a supermarket, right?
No,
but
that's for food.
I'm old enough to remember that you could only get olive oil was from a pharmacy.
Oh wow!
It's like olive oil hit the shelves in the '80s, the mid '80s. Before then, if you wanted olive oil, and you remember no clothes in supermarkets.
No clothes. I actually remember. So. To do your shopping, you went into town. You went into your village or whatever, and you went to the greengrocer to get vegetables.
Do you remember?
And you went to the butcher to get meat, and then like a supermarket was kind of like a very special occasion trip thing. And I remember being really excited. You go there, you could get Games Master magazine because they did do magazines at the entrance of supermarkets back then.
Yeah.
But you couldn't buy clothes. That's madness. Why would you be able to buy clothes from a food shop? You do the big shop, right?
Do the big shop, not the little shop.
I swear we used to do that once a month. It was like a monthly thing. And now I feel like I've got to go to the shops like every half a day to get something else that I need.
Yeah, I mean, if your mum said you're going to the shops, you knew what you're in for. But if your mum said we're doing a big shop, you're like, oh, I better
savage
have an extra Weetabix in my breakfast. I'm going to need it this morning, It was a 3 Weetabix day. You were going for the big shop.
But at the big shop, you're more likely to get something in that trolley that you want as a treat, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the big shop.
It's the big shop.
Mum's just letting it all go crazy. She's like, oh, go on. You can have a pack of Cadbury's Secret.
You've been
Did you ever have a Cadbury's
quite.
Secret?
You've been quite.
You have a magazine.
Can
I
have a
do
white
remember
dwarf,
Tesco. They did do video games because they had Mega Drive games there. I remember looking at the Mega Drive games.
Yeah.
So they have done multi things for a while, but just not clothes.
Oh, I remember when electronics came in. I remember back in the day there was no electronics in there. You went to another store to buy
W.H. Smith's.
It was around the OG PlayStation time that we started to see a proper sense of electronics. And before then, you could get like microwaves, TVs, the household things, but nothing else. No flashy speakers and video games and iPods.
It's go to Dixon's.
Exactly.
It's go to Dixon's at an hour price to get a tape back.
I mean, as rare as rocking horse shite, isn't it?
Do they still exist? Is it still a thing?
Like Blockbuster, gone,
dead.
Gone.
All the good stuff.
The greats, the true greats, the giants of our age.
Dixon's an hour price. Our price for £5, you could get like an 8 Jungle Mania or drum and bass tape pack. 8 tapes. It was incredible.
Do you remember going to old school Argos, where it was just basically a distribution centre?
Yeah, but Argos was something incredibly new and exciting.
You went to the warehouse, which they brought into the town centre.
Yeah,
and that was it.
Then you looked through the catalogue and you were like,
yeah,
you could dream.
Yeah. I'll get that from Argos. No, you won't. You'll never get that from Argos. And you go there and guess what?
It was out of stock.
Yeah, it was normally out of stock.
Yeah. You took up your bit of paper and they went, that's out of stock.
Yeah. After queuing behind 28 people.
Yeah.
Brilliant. The old days.
You know what, Malky can have another question quick while we're in a jovial mood.
Reminiscing.
Because I just added it. He said, is Orc Fungus beer as bad or somehow worse than Carling?
Oh, is there anything worse than Carling?
Foster's.
Foster's.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let's just say that they're joined in history in hell, aren't they? Basically, they're
definitely.
Yeah.
Our buddy, this guy, also known as Joe.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine.
He did the Necromunda campaigns, which you can watch.
Yeah.
You can become a tier 3 channel member.
You can do that. Watch Joe gallivanting around. He's a great sport.
Lovely guy.
Joe's actually the main person I've been playing Games Workshop games with. He's still got a bit of the love in there. We played Combat Patrol, the game mode Combat Patrol.
Right.
That's really good. By the way, guys, I should have mentioned this earlier. Combat Patrol is really just a streamlined, fun little game. If you don't want to invest in a huge army, but you want to play a faction. So I've got Leagues of Votan Combat Patrol, a few bikes, a few little dwarves. Great fun little game. You've got an A4 page with all your rules on it, and it's got special. You get a couple of strats each, like an enhancement. Great fun, and you get your own. One thing that it does in Combat Patrol is you get your own objective as well. That's based on your chosen faction. It'll be something to do with them. I think that. You've got to judge someone and then destroy them to get it for Votan. You played Combat Patrol?
No, but it sounds like something. It sounds like something we should.
Yeah, it's really fun, and you could get a load of people around, each with their own Combat Patrol.
Yeah,
great fun.
You can smash out a couple of games in the evening, and then can't you?
Easy.
A few mates.
Yeah, you can do it in an hour. Yeah. And there's another one that they've released for Age of Sigmar called Spearhead, which is the most play-tested game they've ever released.
I heard, though, everyone stopped playing Age of Sigmar.
It's false rumours. Look at that.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm in the middle of painting these guys for Age of Sigmar. They're also blue. These are the Celestial Vindicators.
Are you okay?
They're great fun.
Do you want me to call you a ambulance?
Well, there's nothing wrong with Age of Sigmar, all right?
No, you were crying like, Wah!
Oh, yeah. But
I thought maybe you like crying.
I got excited.
Was it?
Stop distracting me.
You sounded old.
This is annoying me.
Really old.
I was struggling. I'm going to be young next time. I'm going to dye my beard.
Okay.
I'm going to be young next time we do the episode. We're going to try and do this every couple of weeks, right? We're going to keep it a thing, yeah. Okay. Joe
Yes.
This guy, Joe,
yes,
asked a really cool question, actually. He says, is it worse to be interred in a box dread, as in the old dreadnought, which is objectively not as powerful, and therefore you can't serve your chapter as effectively, but you can live for a lot longer, and they get you out to ask questions and parade you around and stuff, and or a Redemptor chassis, which lets you fight a lot harder, and obviously you're in a tougher chassis, but it does fry your brain being in a Redemptor. He's asking which one is better. I'm guessing he's thinking from like a more of an objective way, because subjectively you could be like, well, I think I'd prefer to live forever, all this kind of stuff. But in terms of serving the Space Marines, here's my argument for both of them, right?
Right.
Box dread, old school babby dread, as we like to call them, the wisdom that can be gained from waking one of those up and having a chat with the guy inside. I think there's been multiple stories that I've read or listened to that involve waking up an old boy in a box dread and having a chat. Redemptor Dreadnought, if you need to fight and settle a score, if you need to come back and do something, you want to be a Redemptor, right? You want to have the advanced Redemptor business going on. So, yeah, I think it really depends whether you need more knowledge and more training for your guys, or whether you need a real punch. What do you think?
I mean, that's Shakespearean. That is John Wick or Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
And I think everyone needs a John Wick and a Mr. Miyagi, right?
Exactly.
So the bottom line is,
Joe is Shakespearean in his wisdom to ask such a deep question. Love it.
Yeah. Tomo91. How does it feel to be back, Chris? It feels great. Really, it does. It feels great. It's nice. I've had to focus a lot on not doing a podcast with Winters, so it's nice to be able to do a podcast with Winters again.
I've missed you, Chris.
I've missed you too.
Can I say welcome back on behalf of myself and my entire community as well? You're lovely.
Well, that's really kind of you. You're going to make me cry. Sorry. And on that same line of thinking,
yes,
Stylus had to butt in.
Why'd you? Someone's got to lower the IQ in the room, right? Let's go.
Exactly. He says, my question is, what would Warsmith Chris say to prove that he was the real Warsmith Chris and not an imposter? Well, the only way I can prove that I'm the real Warsmith Chris is to tell a quick anecdote that only he would know that this is a true story, and therefore he can verify independently at a later date that I'm the correct Warsmith Chris. I'll just say,
I see no flaws whatsoever. This should work.
Yeah, I'll be like, Stylus, do you remember the time that we both went out clubbing in Wales, night clubbing, and you had a little bit too much to drink, and you drew the moustache on that statue, and the police chased us for miles. It felt like miles. We ended up diving into a bush, and we waited there for about an hour, and then went and got a taxi home back to his gaff for some more shandies. Do you remember that time? See, that's how I know that I'm the real Warsmith Chris. I don't know
that
this one.
Works. Your logic checks out 100%.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know this one. This is Clover Cat Commissions, Winters. You're going to have to answer this, or tell me what it's about.
Okay.
What are the potential repercussions of the Alpha Legion possessing the beacon from Shroud of Night?
I don't know that reference. And if I do know the reference, that's gone. That's lost on me. That must be obscure. I don't know.
Right, Clover Cat. We'll do some homework.
I'm taking the knee.
We've both taken the knee. You managed to defeat Winters, so we could have
to... not a machine. I have feelings.
We'll come back to that another time, another day. Now, this is funny because I have a feeling that last time we had a podcast, last time we did one of these, whatever this person's name was at the time, it's Neve. Can't remember what it was. Captain Neve, something like that. Well, I kept saying it wrong, and you said they should be Commander N.
Right.
And they changed their name to Commander N.
Commander N.
So now they're called Commander N,
See,
and it's because of this.
This is why we like these ongoing sagas, these ongoing story arcs.
Yeah.
This is Commander N.
Yeah.
Famous Commander N.
Ranked up to Commander.
Yeah.
So Commander Neve, whose name I said as Niam about 500 times, because that's how it's spelt. Like, spell it right. It says, the Leagues of Votan are fairly new and haven't really made a splash in the lore.
Yes.
Which I agree with. There's actually really limited Votan lore out there. We all know they need more models, but my question to you is, what do you expect from the Votan in the lore? For example, do you want them to be incredibly hostile and be an enemy in a Warzone book, or be very cooperative with the Imperium?
I have no expectations of Games Workshop lore-wise ever. I like them to surprise me. I don't expect anything. What do I want, though? What do you want, Chris, from the Votan lore-wise?
I think the Votans themselves, the Votans are the big heads, right? The AI heads. They're
STCs for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, they are extremely incompatible with the Imperium and the way the Imperium thinks, but they're extremely like $sign catnip to the Mechanicus, right? The Mechanicum, because they're going to want to know what's going on, what these things can do. I think that there's no way that they can cooperate on a proper level. They're a bit like the Tau in that respect, that occasionally you see the Tau and Space Marines have a bit of mutual not killing each other for the moment kind of thing. You might see that with the Votan, but I think it would be really interesting to have the Votan be the aggressors, because they are presented as quite a nice a faction that, you know, they're very open. They allow AI, they allow robots into the fold. They're all about kin. Some of them are a bit more aggressive than others. It would be interesting to see a faction like that actually see the Imperium as a bunch of real arseholes and want to do something about it. So that's where I'm coming from.
War. You want war in the Grimdark.
There's got to be war in the Grimdark.
Proper war. I want more Grimdark in my dwarfs.
Yeah.
I want them to have all in their next codex number 2 comes along. It's got the Votan, got some AI creatures, and what they really like skinning puppies, boiling cats, clubbing baby seals. That's their jam. That's their hobbies all the time. We need some proper Grimdark in this, and war and Grimdarkness. About a quarter of them need to die in some mega nasty catastrophe,
and they get angry about that,
and they get very
and then the
angry,
Votans start saying, "Feed us kittens,"
a Votan
and then they have to feed the Votans kittens or puppies.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what we'd like to see.
If the galaxy is ripped in half, that's half of the Votan, right? Galactic core.
Yeah.
I mean, apple core in half a core.
Crunchy.
So there's ripe for some Grimdark vengeance and justice, and John Wickness. John Wickness could come right out of the heart, of the eye, not the eye, the core. Yeah, it'd be lovely.
40k needs a good mix of John Wick and Mr. Miyagi, doesn't it? That's what it needs. It needs both.
Joe is just a genius.
Joe.
Some people call him this guy, but I've never met this guy.
He's more like that guy. He's the guy.
He's the guy.
The guy.
Yeah.
We've got one question left, and this is the one that I actually wanted to focus on the most, which is why I left it till last.
Nice.
We've got about 15 minutes to talk about this. It's you know, but we're not bound by time, really. This is from...
Who is really bound
by
time?
No one is.
No.
This is a FW Draconis, in brackets Tom Shaw, just if you want their full name. So, what is the... Okay, so... There's two things I need to add some bits to this after I've said it. So, what is the difference, similarities between Zeth's Akashic Reader Throne and the Golden Throne? If they're not related in any way, what's the relevance of Zeth's throne in the lore? Right? So, we could talk about that question, because I know a little bit about this.
So, go on then.
But I also wanted to talk about the Golden Throne a bit more, because it did occur to me that maybe not everyone knows what the Golden Throne is like, and I happen to spend a bit of time reading the Carrion Throne, so people that haven't read it might not know. Zeth's Akashic reader throne
Yes.
is from a book that I haven't read, so I don't know the answer to this question. But from what I know, from what I think,
shall I tell you what it is?
Is it a way of? Is it like something to do with the Akashic records?
That's what. Well, Graham McNeil is leaning on that, but yes.
Is it a brain think throne rather than?
It's a brain thinker throne. So
yeah,
in
okay.
Mechanicum, which I think is book 5 or 6 of the Horus Heresy, and quite frankly, an epic piece of 40k storytelling, if ever there is one, and I am shocked, nay, disappointed that you haven't read it.
I own it, and I haven't started it yet.
It's good.
Okay. I will.
It's one of those books that you want to read again.
Yeah. Okay.
It's good. And in it, 30k times. So some of the, not all the tech priests are what we think of in 40k times. Some of them are actually scientific and forward thinking. And one knows that the warp isn't neither good nor bad. I mean, psychers use it, the Emperor uses it, astropaths use it, navigators use it. The warp is a reflection of our own psychic manifestation. It's neither good nor bad. It's just anyway, but it also touches all things and therefore knows all things.
Okay.
Makes this thing, plugs a psyker into it, beams the light of the Astronomicon into its face, and hello God, or shard of a god, like a shard of a deceiver,
right.
like the shard of a Nightbringer. But of course, it's not connected with the story of the Necrons whatsoever. Just this psyker becomes.
So does it give them? Can they like pull knowledge?
Briefly.
Are they looking into the warp? Are they basically taking knowledge from the Materium? Are they?
So the way to think about it is supercomputers, they use brains, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how the AdMech work. So what's the smartest computer would be a psyker plugged into a thing. Psyker plugged into a machine, supercomputer. But the psyker can still walk around and things. Well, no, the one plugged into the machine actually dies a gruesome, horrible death.
Oh, no,
but
okay.
imparts a touch, a fragment, a shard of godlike knowledge onto the person that really cares and is there and is one of the keys in the story. But the point is, supercomputer with a brain isn't the Golden Throne. It's a computer with a psyker in it. To basically, it's like the ultimate Google. What is the quest of the Omnissiah? What is the quest of the Cult Mechanicus? It's the thirst for lost knowledge. It's to know everything. They don't believe. See, at the very core of the Mechanicum, the Adeptus Mechanicus is religious belief is that all knowledge already exists. Everything that has ever been invented has already been invented. Everything that has ever been known has already been known. Because way back in their past, there was a dark age. But before the dark age, gods walked the earth. It's their religious belief. They knew it was Siri.
I believe that as
Alexa.
well.
It was all those things.
The reason why I believe that is because in order to create the 40k universe, you can't imagine anything because it already exists or will exist in the future. So people are just writing about the future.
Basically.
And all this stuff happens for real.
Yeah.
We've got that to look forward to.
The find out. So it was a computer designed to, powered by the Emperor's own power, to peer into the idea was, they actually spell it out quite clearly. Because it's the Emperor's guiding light, the Astronomicon, it would be able to pierce a tunnel into the warp of this bright radiance, so bright, so thick, so powerful, that it would be safe to be inside for the psycho brain to unlock everything. Do you know what?
What?
That splash of light through the warp that existed for a few seconds in 30k is still in the warp to this day. And it's a period that crosses through the Eye of Terror, and Abaddon runs into it in his book in either the Talon of Horus or Black Legion. It's because time is endless in the warp, so that psychic scar of the Emperor just blasting is still there to this day, and it's very hazardous to warp, he thinks. Anyway, Golden Throne, nothing to do with that. The Golden Throne is a piece of Dark Age, Eldar / Necron / Wraithbone. It's Wraithbone, it's Eldar technology. Take us away to the Golden Throne, Chris.
All I was going to say is, I, up until recently, thought that the Golden Throne, I knew that I mean, I knew that it was a psycho machine. You have to feed it people, and I know that the Emperor's desiccated corpse is plugged into it. And I thought, like the old John Blanche drawing, it's kind of like a throne that it's sat on, and there's like some pipes going in, and then you throw some stuff in. But little did I know, the Golden Throne is a gargantuan structure by the 41st millennium.
Yeah, it's basically the size of the palace.
It cores deep, deep, deep into the earth.
Yeah. It's directly referred to in a book as the palace or the Golden Throne, or words to that effect. Overlap. It is the same thing. I forget which reference it is.
They also
it's
reference...
so deep now. And
it's Chris Wright, isn't it? Is it Chris
bear
Wright?
in mind, the palace is the size of a decent city.
Yeah. It's
the
big.
Palace. It's, yeah.
Did Chris Wright write?
Yes, those ones. Servant of the Throne and Watchers of the Throne. Those ones.
Yeah.
Very
so he describes Terra as now kind of like a holding piece for the Golden Throne now.
Yeah.
As it's been added to and is constantly being built. The Mechanicum just go absolutely nuts with this thing.
Yeah.
And they drill miles into the ground, and there's stuff everywhere. And there's an interesting bit with there's a Valyrian named Custodes.
Sister of Silence.
There's a Leia, and then there's a Custodes as well, who's going to go and join the...
Yes, yeah,
and he has to... He basically... There's like a psychic barrier that he catches a glimpse of a moment of... There's like a desiccated husk somewhere buried deep, deep, deep inside all these cables and everything. And he has this fraction of a glimpse of it, and it's so powerful that psychically he can't take one step forward towards it. So yeah, I think it's so. From hearing about the Akashic throne, seems like a complete, like nothing even close. This thing is a psychic construction of like beyond belief.
Yeah,
in scale, to give the Emperor an ability to continue in a way in the universe. It also allows him...
What it is at its core is the OG Golden Throne, and all the stuff that's built. And the OG Golden Throne is a archaeological relic that the Emperor found on Terra, partially constructed of wraithbone. That's at the core.
So it's been sung. It's a bone singer has made it, because they make wraithbone, don't they? So it's definitely an Eldari relic, right?
We know it's constructed of a number of things, but it, again, in the book, just listening to, there's some really good description. We know that it's an archaeological relic. We know that the Emperor found it way back, and they're suggesting BC, not like in the year 30k. He found it in the year 20k. They're suggesting way back. We know it's partially made of wraithbone archaeological relic, because it's described by Malcador as being that at its core, with also plutonium and auramite and tritium and all these other things that the Emperor's bolted onto it to make it work. So the OG machine works, and then everything they've added on top of that is keeping that machine working, because by the end of the Siege of Terra, it's melted off. It's raining gold inside the central ecclesiarchy, the throne room, because it's lacquered in these gold, and it's raining heat. They put baffles around Malcador in just the section of one book. It's already turning into some sort of cocoon nuclear furnace, which they've been adding to for 10,000 years. Yeah.
Incredible. And it's meant to be very, very hot.
Rather hot. Yes.
In there. No matter where you are, incredibly hot.
Yes.
And there's lots of little adepts and stuff skittering around in their robes. So yeah, to go back to the question that was actually asked, it was something about, is it similar?
What?
Are they related to each other? So,
well,
one
was
way,
made
yes,
by the Emperor, and one was made by a Mechanicus.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
They're related that way.
And people sit on them.
Yeah, I mean, the blinding light that hit the Ashek reader came from the Astronomicon anyway, not from the Golden Throne. Because the Emperor does sit on his throne and does his thing, but he guides the light of the astronaut. They're two separate places. The Hollow Mountain is the only mountain. If you looked at the Himalayan mountain range in the year 30K, it would look flat, except for one mountain.
Yeah.
The whole thing's flat. It's all a mile high. So, yeah.
I forgot those mountains are also consumed into the Golden Throne now. The Himalayan mountain range was planed down to be a kilometre high. So the tops of the mountains sheared off, used to fill the valleys, and that kilometre high wall is called the Ultimate Wall. And the line in the Siege's Air books first, they're crucifying Titans along the Ultimate Wall. So imagine the size of Titans. Imagine them crucified. Imagine the wall being a metre high. That's the Himalayas. That's 40K. That's why I love this hobby. And there's one mountain still standing, that's the Hollow Mountain, and that's the light of the Astronomicon. Different place. Yeah.
That's where the throne is. There's a map and everything. You can Google it online. It's lovely.
Just Google it.
Yeah. Sorry.
He loves it. So if you want to ask some questions like that, that was all the questions we've got.
Yeah,
we'll go back to the start again. Because this is new, I'm going to say again, because people might have not seen this before. Just sign up to the thing. There's a button. It's on YouTube. We're on YouTube now. There's a button that says subscribe or something in there.
But 1 minute, though. You better tell them that sometimes we don't answer any questions.
Sometimes we don't answer any questions. It's kind of how we feel.
Yeah.
Because there's no rules where we're from.
We break them rules.
We break the rules. Once you hit 40 years old, and then again 60 and 70, when you cross those barriers, you stop really caring about the rules. You just go again. You just like whatever I want to do. So sometimes if we've got something we really want to talk about, we'll talk about that. But if you've got some great questions, sometimes we'll talk about that. And if there's really good questions and we don't talk about them, I might save them for the next time. Just come in with ideas. What do you want to hear us talk about? What lore questions are burning? What should we have a discussion? Some of these are very organic discussions. Yeah. Sometimes we change how we think about things throughout the conversation. Sometimes we don't.
But sometimes you're a wild animal, right? You're not going to be contained.
Can't contain me. But if you do give me a hot chocolate and make me lay on a sofa, I will fall asleep. I love that. Anyway, I've been Warsmith Chris. This has been Winter's SEO. We're gonna try and do these every couple of weeks. And next year, I'm gonna go and do some battles. Come and do some fights with them, and we're gonna get lots of 40k. We're gonna bring back 40k. Come on, guys, let's get excited for 40k again. There's some great stuff. Look, you got golden men with blue on them. You got other ones. You got these guys with shotguns. That nothing's finished. I can't finish painting a model. Totals.
They don't count. The Stormcast ones don't count.
We're not getting them out. But yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff. So yeah, get your 40k on. Go and find a person that you like playing with and go play a game with them. Have a game. Think about the lore. Get back into it. Forget about whether the rules are perfect or not. Go have a good time. Go think of an idea. Go out there and go, you know what? You're going to defend this. Your Necrons are going to assault my base that I've been holding here for the last 8 weeks on a mission to protect this area until this happens, and then your Necrons are going to come and attack it. You know what? And if I get stomped and I lose, then that's what happened to my Space Marines when they were trying to defend this base from the Necrons, and that's the story that we will tell their families when we tell their families about it. The Space Marines families, if they're still alive. They're long dead. They died ages ago.
You stuck the landing. You stuck the landing. You stuck it. I thought you would fall there, but you stuck the landing.
They died like maybe 170 years ago, minimum. You know what I mean? They're dead. You can't find them.
It's got to be grimdark.
Yeah, it's got to be. This is what you tell.
Yeah.
The ancestors, the mortal ancestors, many years down. Anyway, thank you for tuning into the STC. We're back. We're better than ever. We're gonna have 3D effects. Please come and help me beat the bosses in Tacticus, Free Terror, and And we'll be back in a few weeks. And I love you. I absolutely adore you. And thanks for tuning in and everything. You got anything you want to say to these great
particularly
people?
if you tuned in instead of playing Space Marine 2, you're the real OG. Thank you.
I mean, you're great. Yeah. Thank you so much, and we love you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. No, we keep doing that, and then I'll stop.